Good morning, everyone. This is Unit 4 PH1 for Science Double Award and Paper 1 PR. In this session, I'll discuss this whole paper with you. The first question. This question is about astrophysics. Complete the sentence by writing a suitable word or a phrase in each blank. Space in all galaxies in it, what we call this, we call that as universe. A large collection of billions of stars. So when we have a large collection of billions of stars, what we call that as galaxy. The sun, its collection of planet and moon is called, so what we call this, we call that as a solar system. The diagram shows the orbit of a comet around the sun, at which point in its orbit the comet is moving fastest. So the relation at position A, because the comet is closer to the sun, so when it is closer to the sun, as the distance between the sun and the comet decreases, the speed will increase. Or opposite will happen, as the distance increase, the speed will decrease. So the closest point to the sun, that is A, so at position A, it will move at a higher speed. Name the force that keep the comet orbiting. The force is centripetal force, but that arises due to gravitational force. So we'll write as a gravitational force. Next question, the boxes give some units of time and some definition. Draw a straight line from each unit of time to its correct definition. So 1 day, that's equal to time for Earth to rotate once. And 1 year is a time for Earth to orbit the sun. Next question. This question is about nuclear fission chain reaction. Uranium-235 isotope is there that undergo a fission. The table gives some statement about the fission process. Add tick to the table which statements are correct. So which statements are correct? For a uranium-235 absorb a neutron, become uranium-236, that's true. And 2 or 3 neutrons are usually released, that's true. And energy is transferred to kinetic store of a fission product when uranium-236 split. So for second statement, the second last and the last statement are correct. State which product of nuclear fission cause the uranium-235 nuclear to split in a chain reaction. So that is neutrons. Uranium-235 is radioactive and emit alpha. Which of these statements describe alpha particle? So alpha particle is a helium nuclei, that's why B is a right answer. Some of the product nuclear fission are radioactive because their nuclei have too many neutrons. These nuclei become more stable when neutron changes to proton. State which type of radiation is emitted by radioactive nuclei with too many neutrons. So neutron breaks into proton and electron, and that electron is actually a beta. So it must release beta. When a meteor explodes, light wave and sound waves are produced at the same time. State the formula which relates speed, distance, and time. So the formula is speed is equals to distance divided by time. A person standing 1860 meters away from a site of a meteor explosion hears the sound 5.6 later. What is the speed of a sound? So speed is distance over time. The distance is given 1860 divided by time is 5.6. So 1860 divided by 5.6, so it's about 330 meter per second. Then a scientist stand a long way from a meteor explosion. Why he hears the explosion at a different time when he sees it? So reason for that, because light travel faster than sound. So he will hear the bang, or he sees the explosion before hearing it. Next is sound wave is longitudinal. What is the definition of a longitudinal particle? Vibrate parallel to direction of wave. So when the particles are vibrating parallel to direction of the wave, we call that as longitudinal wave. In, two, in 2013, a meteor exploded above Russia. Just before the meteor exploded, it was traveling at a speed of 19.2 km per second, and the mass is given. State the formula linking the kinetic energy. So kinetic energy Ke or Ek is equals to half mv square. Calculate the kinetic energy. We have the mass, but the speed is given in a kilometer per second. We have to convert, so it will be half. Mass is 1.25 into 10 power 7, and the speed is 19.2 into 10 power 3 meter per second. Because kilometer into meter will multiply by 1000 or 10 power 3. This will give us, and this whole square. This will give us the kinetic energy, which is 2.3 into 10 power 50 joules. This question is about Rigel, a very large star with a high surface temperature. So, what will be the appearance? We have violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. In this order, the frequency increases or the temperature also increases. So, it will appear as blue or white. Describe how stars form in nebula, the formation of the stars in nebula. So, basically, what happened in nebula? the gases, the particles collide with each other, increase temperature, which start the fusion. Wriggle is the main sequence star. A star joins the main sequence when nuclear fusion hydrogen start in the core. Describe the process of nuclear fusion in stars. So basically what happened, the nuclear fusion, that lighter nuclei join to form the heavy by releasing energy. Astronomers think that Wriggle will become a supernova in future. Which property of a star determine whether it become a supernova? So it depends on the starting mass. That what is the starting mass of a star? That which cycle it will. It can be a low mass star, or it can be a high mass star. Describe the evolution of Wriggle after it leaves the main sequence. So what will happen when it will leave the main sequence star? So first thing, from main sequence it will become a red giant. Then it will contract rapidly and explode as supernova, leaving a neutron star and or a black hole. A toaster is an electrical device used for toasting bread. The toaster contains thin metal. These wires get hot when there is a current. Give a reason why the wire and toaster are connected in parallel. So advantage of connecting in them in parallel, so they can have a greater voltage and current. You have, so because greater current means greater heating effect will be there. State the formula linking power, voltage and current. So we have the formula P is equals to VI. Power is given, the voltage is there. So this is 2.8 into 10 power 3 because it's kilowatt, and 230, and the current we are finding. So the current will be 0.25 ampere. The toaster contains 48 thin metal wires. Calculate the current in each of thin metal wires. So how we can find the current in each of these metal wires? The previous answer, it was 2800 divided by 230, that's 12. This answer, this one is 12 because it's 2.8 into 10 power 3. So this answer is 12 ampere. Then this is a total current divided by 48. The total current divided by 48 will get the current in each. So this is 12 divided by 48, which is equals to 0.25 ampere, and this answer was 12 ampere. Ampere is already written, so we don't have to write that. A student need to identify a sample of unknown liquid she decided to do by finding the density. Describe how student should measure the mass of a liquid. So measure the mass of empty measuring cylinder. Then add liquid, measure mass again, and take a difference in the mass will give us the mass of the liquid. How student use a measuring cylinder to obtain accurate value of the volume of a liquid. So to get the accurate, the measuring cylinder should be placed horizontal and look perpendicular to avoid a parallax error. Next question, student measure the mass of unknown liquid as 150 gram and the volume deduce the unknown liquid. So first we'll find the density. Density is mass over volume, and we'll compare that with the known densities from the table. So mass over volume, the mass is 150 and the volume is 163. This will give us the density of the liquid, which is 0.92. And this 0.92 gram per centimeter cube, with substance it matches with, so it matches with sunflower. So this is a sunflower oil. The photograph shows two different breeds of cat. Cat X has no fur and light colored skin, and cat Y is thick and a black fur. Both cats have the same body temperature and transfer energy to the surrounding when they are outside on a cold day. Compare how cat X and Y transfer energy to their surrounding refers to conduction, convection, and radiation. So basically, cat X will lose more energy by conduction and convection because it does not have any fur to trap the air, and basically the fur trap the air, reduce heat loss by convection. Then cat Y lose more energy by radiation, Why? Because dull and dark surfaces are good emitter. Next question. A student uses this apparatus to investigate the efficiency. The first part, how student could uh, improve the accuracy of the experiment. He can repeat the experiment and take an average. Give two control variable for this investigation. So the mass being lifted and the height through which we are lifting, that should be a control variable. Show that the gravitational store of 1 kilogram mass increased by 5 joule when it is lifted to a distance of 50 centimeter or 0.5 meter. So potential energy is mgh, mass is 1, gravity is 10, and this is 0.5, so that will come out as 5 joules. The table shows calculate the motor efficiency when the power supplied is set to 10. So how we can work out its efficiency? The formula for efficiency is the useful energy output divided by total energy input multiplied by 100. So the potential energy, this is a useful energy because it is, we are lifting, so useful energy is 5, and the energy which is supplied, that is 12.7 into 100. So 5 divided by 12.7 into 100, that will give us about 39.4% efficient. Plot a graph for a motor efficiency on y-axis against the power supplied on x-axis and draw the best fit curve. So you will use the values and draw the best fit curve according to the values. And use the graph to determine the minimum power supply voltage that will allow the electric to operate at the maximum efficiency. So you will have a curve because you can see using the mode, you are plotting a graph on y-axis. On you have efficiency, and power supply is on x-axis. So maximum efficiency, just find the voltage. So according to your graph, you will work out that the diagram shows part of the circuit used for outdoor lighting system. Draw a voltmeter on to measure the voltage across 4500 ohm resistor. So this will be a voltmeter. Give a name of component X, so that is LDR. The voltage across X is 3. So what is the voltage? So because it's a voltage divider circuit, so if the voltage across X is 3, then the voltage across other one will be 12 minus 3, which is equals to 9 volts. The current in the circuits. So how to get the current in the circuit? Because they are in series, so current in each component is same as the total current. So we have the resistance here 4500, and we know the voltage. So we can find the current, which is voltage divided by resistance. So voltage is 9 and the resistance is 4500. So this will give us the current, which is 0.002 ampere. Calculate the resistance of X. How to calculate, because the current will be same. So we will use the formula V is equals to IR. The voltage was 3 and the current is 0.002. So we'll get this R, which will come out as 1500 ohm, but we have to write answer in kilo ohm. So divide by 1000, so 1.5 kilo ohm. Explain where the lamp should be connected in the circuit so that the voltage across the lamp increases as the light received by component X decreases. So we should connect the lamp parallel to X, because what happens, as the light intensity decreases, intensity of light decreases, the resistance increase. So more voltage here. If more voltage and we want the lamp to light up when it's dark, so the voltage across the lamp will also increase. So lamp should be connected in parallel to X. So as the light intensity decreases, lamp should be parallel to X. So resistance of LDR increase when light intensity decreases. So more voltage across LDR and lamp when it is dark. This question is about the bar magnets, describing how shape and direction of a magnetic field. So what we will do, we have to write the whole experiment. So we'll place a bar magnet bar magnet above paper. Then we will use plotting compass and use a plotting compass to show direction of magnetic field at different points. A bar magnet is used as a bicycle dynamo. Dynamo is connected to the light on a bicycle. Explain how dynamo causes the light to turn on when the bicycle is moving. So this is due to electromagnetic induction. Basically, what happened, that when the dynamo is rotating, there is a change in the magnetic field. Of core produce EMF across the coil, which cause current. in the wire. Suggests a disadvantage of using dynamo to power the bicycle light. So what is the disadvantage? Because the speed of the bicycle is not constant, so the brightness of the light will vary. And it will not work when cycle is stationary. Question 11. A car has initial speed of 35 meter per second. Brakes are applied and the car comes to complete stop in a braking distance from the graph. Calculate the mean braking acceleration. So initial speeds are given and the braking distance is there. So initial speed is 35. So we will use the initial speed of 35 and find the distance, braking distance from the graph. So each box is representing 2, so this is 78. So we'll use the formula 2as is equals to v square minus u square. So it stops, the final speed is 0, initial speed is 35 square, the distance is 78, acceleration we don't know, and multiplied by 2. So this will be a is equals to 35 square divided by 2 into 78. So acceleration will come out as 7 point, it will be negative because it's decelerating, so 7.9 meter per second square. Evaluate how thinking distance and braking distance vary for different values with initial speed. Refer information from a graph. So you can see higher speed, there is a greater difference between braking distance and the braking distance and the thinking distance. So first both increases with speed. That's first thing according to the graph. And braking distance increase or with a greater rate compared to thinking distance. For a thinking distance, it is a straight line, so it means it is a braking distance change is non-linear, where thinking distance because it is a straight line, so is proportional to initial speed. Question 12 discussion is about refractive index. So critical angle, angle of incidence for which angle of refraction is 90. So it will be 90 minus 43, which is equals to 47. 47 is a critical angle formula which relate the refractive index and critical angle. N is equals to 1 over sine C. So N is equals to 1 divided by sine 47. So this will give us the value for the critical angle, refractive index, sorry. Critical angle is there. So it will be 1.4 with no unit because it is a ratio. Explain how the refractive index of a water compared to refractive index of acetone. So here you can see for the same angle of incidence, it does not undergo total anti-reflection. So it means it is having a higher value of critical angle. And the relation between the critical angle, you have N is equals to 1 over sine C. So higher critical angle means lower refractive index. Lower refractive index means less density. So when you compare angle of incidence is less than critical. So critical angle of water is greater. So then critical angle of water is greater. Acetone. So what it shows that the refractive index will be smaller. Is less than acetone because the two quantities are inversely proportional to each other. This question is about the pressure. Calculate a temperature in Kelvin. So 85 degrees centigrade will add 273 to convert into Kelvin. So it will be 358. Describe how motion of a molecule in a flask when the temperature air inside increases. So molecule will move faster and they will collide more often. Increases the kinetic energy and speed of the molecule. The pressure in air flask does not change when the temperature increase. State what happened to the number of air molecule in the flask when the temperature inside the flask increase. So the pressure does not change. So what should happen to the number of the molecule? The number of molecules should decrease so that the pressure does not change. Photograph 2 shows a boiled egg placed in a shell. Flask no longer being heated, an egg seals the flask so that no air escape. Photograph 3 shows the egg in the flask a short time later. Explain why the egg moved downward when and then stop moving. Refer the idea about the pressure. So we'll compare the pressure from inside and outside. So basically what happened, the molecules, the air in the flask cool down. So molecules will move slower. Pressure inside the flask decreases. more pressure from outside, so volume of the air in the flask decrease as it goes as egg move downward. Eventually balance the pressure from outside and stop moving. So this was paper 1 PR from May 2020 exam.